What's up, insiders? You got Sam here. Whatley is somewhere. He's to the left of me, to the right of me. You can figure it out. We're back again.
There's only
here.
two of us. Not the guy talking.
Not the guy talking. But we're back here again, March 2026, for another price list update video summary series. Whatley, how's it going?
Pumped up, man. It's been a great year so far.
Yeah, I'm pumped too. It's actually it's snowing here for what I feel like is the first time this winter, and it's March.
It's weird. Winter's over, bro.
It is. Our my favorite ski hill got over 30 inches of snow so far just this week. So
nice.
I've got plans this weekend. I'll put it that way.
All right, well, let's knock this video out, bro, so you can hit the slopes.
Yeah, let's get into it. Why do you say we check out those new line items? New line items. Okay, so we got 7 new line items here in March 2026. I can't say it's anything groundbreaking, but it gives us more variety, and I like variety. First up here, we've got new line items for Cove base. Specifically, they have added some high-grade versions. This is pretty exciting to me, mostly because in a lot of commercial buildings now, they are putting in higher grade Cove base that is not something that you would cut with a razor. You would use your miter saw to cut it because it's quite a bit thicker. It's, taller in most cases, and it has a profile to it, almost like a traditional baseboard. Have you run into that very often there in California?
Yeah, I've been seeing this higher grade Cove base in commercial applications, with glue down flooring. The kind of stuff where you can't just cut it with scissors anymore. You're going to need a proper miter saw.
Yeah. They make specific cutters for it too. They aren't necessarily miter saws, but
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. It's interesting stuff.
All right.
Miter saw works good too because you don't need a special tool for it. Next up, we got, again, like I said, more variety. We have power washing line items, all the original ones that existed, so P-Wash minus all the way up to P-Wash plus plus, but in the PNT category now. So if you're staining a deck or getting ready to paint the exterior, you should be cleaning it, but most times it's the painter doing it. They're not having a separate cleaning crew come out to do that. And now the labor efficiency for that can be captured in the category that is actually doing that work. Unless you're in California and you need to keep all the runoff water, and then I'll leave that to your expertise.
Yeah, dude, that one's tricky. That aspect, there's wattles, right? And there's sandbags, which are good to have, but there's actually no line item for the extractor. And there are devices that folks out in California do use where you essentially wall off all the water if you're in a parking lot, right? And you get it to a low spot, and then you can extract that out. And that works because it's a $10,000 fine otherwise as a restorer. I might have some intimate experience with that.
Just, once or twice, right?
Well, I think it's only once, bro. You get that fine and then you don't do that again.
Yeah,
so runoff
true.
is definitely a big thing in California. So the point is, if you're out in Cali, make sure that you're managing your runoff, and to the carrier side of the house, know that your California contractors are not making that up. So you got to let them work in a few concessions. We're not talking big dollars, but for managing that runoff water. So there's no perfect line item for it. So look for bid items or some collection of nonsense to, I think maybe $500 to manage the runoff water is probably reasonable. So something like that.
Yeah.
Even disposing of the water is a pain in the ass here in California. So
in a lot of places it is quite complicated.
Yeah, it's so complicated. What do you guys want me to do with this water? Right?
Where should we put it? Just extract it as
Don't put it down the drain. Well, okay. Am I supposed to drink it slowly? What's happening?
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
That's Cali for you. All right. So that's the line items, folks.
That's our new ones. All 7 of them. So we can. You want to check out the changes?
Yeah, dude. Let's check those out.
All right. Let's get into it. Checking out the changes. So what did we see in March 2026? We saw, just like they did with vinyl plank, here we are, laminate flooring. There was some adjustments to the material pricing on these.
Okay.
So what we saw is, I believe this is just standard grade. Yep. The material went from 183 in February to 155 in March. So decent drop there. And then looking at just regular average grade, it goes from 294 in February to 278 in March. So not as much as the standard, a little less. And then we look at the high grade version. It goes from 475 in February to 433 in March. So a little bit bigger. It's probably the biggest drop out of the three.
Yeah, I think it's pretty immaterial. It feels like that petroleum-based flooring's been getting cheaper anyhow. I don't know if that will keep up with everything we have going on in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, but that makes sense as we look through the rearview mirror. But if I look through the windshield, I could see snap block flooring coming back up. Why did they call this out, like as a change? Because they adjusted the yield on these? Is that why?
The material price itself went down.
Huh. That's noble of the pricing department to even call that out. I mean, because it's just so atypical that prices go down at all within the price list. It's just not that common.
Yeah.
Except for like framing, right? Because framing spikes and they bring that back down. But outside of that, you just don't see it that often. So do you think that's why they called that out?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's helpful for people to know that. Also, just like the frequency of those line items, vinyl plank and laminate flooring are so common nowadays. Yeah. If somebody didn't have a heads up on that, it could be like, why is my claim and my scope so much less than it should be?
Go to the additional item information of LAM, just down the middle one, or any of them. So see this foam underlayment? Yeah, this is something that's interesting, and I think comes up in claim settlement. There are like the sound crack membrane, which is often like warranted when you're working in a commercial environment. Think of like a hotel, right, apartment, and so on. You need a really thick membrane to help manage sound. But if you're on a slab in a residential environment, the foam underlayment is actually included in these line items. I think you've got some rules for that, right, within the actionable rule repo.
There's rules for that, yeah. And I mean, it is important to note, too, the information on price drop is specific to the laminate itself. It does not account for the included foam underlayment. That has been unadjusted throughout, across all three. Yeah,
makes sense. All right, cool. All right, what else we got?
Yeah, and then after that, quite a bit of changes. I wouldn't say it's like a crazy change, but some clarifications and changes around low E glass with all the window categories. So aluminum, patio door, skylights, vinyl, wood.
Yep.
So what did they do, right? So they added text to the quality field, can't read today, of the replace definition for all applicable window items to clarify windows will include standard low E insulated glazing. So all categories, right? And then what did they do to the add line items for that? Modified included field of replace definition to clarify item is intended for the additional cost to upgrade from standard low E. So if you estimate
all glazing is low E now? And
all
this is
windows now include specific language to state that they include low E glazing, and the add for low E glass line item specifically states now it is the additional cost to upgrade from standard low E.
Dude, that's so confusing. What a mess. Okay, so you got some rules there, but the descriptions really need to be updated for add-on for premium low E here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how the heck would you know what would be warranted or not? Huh.
Yeah.
I don't love that one, man. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't really think about that, but it's a really good point to bring up. I think that's probably the next suggestion is, hey, let's update the description so it's a little more clear.
Okay.
Add on for upgrade low E glass glazing.
Yeah, right. Upgrade. I think you have to say like premium
or upgraded, right?
Upgraded
Add
low
on for upgraded low E glass. Or premium. One of the two. Just make it clear in the description. Why do I have to read it?
Okay. Well, we'll work through that with our friends in the pricing department. I think that's just as confusing as it's actually more confusing now. Okay. That's a bit of a mess.
That's why we're here, right? I've already got an alert put out there now. So if you add this line item, it's going to maybe recommend you do an F9 note.
Oh, nice. Nice work, dude.
So,
cool. All right.
Check out the profile. No shame. Next, we'll look at the miscellaneous changes. Updated worker wage portion of retail labor rates for various areas in the United States and Canada. So just basic, typical labor increases or decreases like they tend to do.
Okay.
And then added floor truss items for sketch drop-down selection for floor framing. So floor joists. So there's some more options there for the sketch drop-down selection for floor framing.
Okay, cool. That was a big update. That's probably hard to do. So that should be honored. All right.
Yeah, and I mean it's cool to call out that it's for the floor truss, so it's not like just traditional joists. floor trusses are pretty cool.
Okay.
I actually built a cabin that had 2-foot tall floor truss.
Do you have any like rules for that? Like if relative to like if somebody says an F variable in the calculation, that it might be a flooring joist versus a ceiling joist?
You know, I feel like I just maybe 2 months ago did a whole bunch of work in framing around trusses, specifically floor trusses.
Yeah, because there's no new line item here, right? So probably your work carries over.
Yeah. The floor truss line item exists already. You can just choose it as like the material. So like in the sketch when you're doing a graphical estimating, you can choose material like framed and then choose truss now rather than just joist.
That's great. Yeah, dude, I would not know how to estimate FRM without Xactimate. Like I would be lost. I'm so dependent on that.
It's very helpful. Yeah, I think I'll be curious to see what they do for updates on that when you're doing a framed roofing structure. If it's going to start adding the
outriggers.
Yeah.
I doubt it because I think outriggers like Xactimate defaults to like the minimum that would be required almost every time. And then it gives space for those that are intellectually curious, bother to watch videos like this, bother to pursue mastery. If you want to make a living as a restorer, Carrier's going to make you work for it. And I don't know that that's awful either. I think that's the free market attempting to play out in a not so free market environment.
Well, it spells the importance of education, I think, on both parts. As a contractor, you can't just assume. You have to educate and continue to always find new knowledge and improve yourself, I think is an important part with that.
Well, let's look forward to the future. What do you say?
Yeah, forward to the future. Get your 8-ball out.
Forward to the future.
Alrighty, looking forward here, we have 2 things that have been on, I feel like, the list for probably the past 2-3 months now. So talking about the RFG 300 minus standard grade laminated shingle item, so including corresponding series of line items. This is all for the May publication, but they keep talking about it, so we're learning about it again. Here we are in March, and don't forget. Other than that, we can look forward to some new line items around chimney exhaust brace kits, new line items for pre-finished hardwood trim, if I could use my words today, I tell you. And if I could keep my hand off the keyboard, look at that. Review assembly for the DMO H series of line items, and review the labor yield for the tub line item removal activities. So I'll be curious to see if we see an increase or a decrease there.
Yeah, the big deal is there's a new shingle line item coming out
in May.
And that's going to be the most affordable roofing line item we've yet to see. I think there used to be 250, and then that was removed, and so now this is going to be 300 minus. I'm not sure.
No, 250 or 240 is still a line item.
Still exist?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, I don't want to pontificate too much about something I don't yet totally understand. So let's just keep an eye on that one. But I think that's going to be the big one that's going to impact a lot of claims, right? 45% of all claims are wind and hail related. So, and that line item in there in particular is probably going to be used a lot. So we got to keep an eye on it and help our members understand those impacts. What else we got, dude?
That's it. That's the end of the road. We found it. It's a dead end. No more fork.
All right. I love it. Well, thanks for joining us this month, folks. We'll be in the lab building awesome rules within the Actionable rule repository and Actionable profile. You know where to find us at getinsights.org. Keep building, folks. Over to you, Fletcher.
Yeah. Stay humble.